Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I know we still have a few folks trickling in for the start of this event, but thank you so much for joining us tonight for the Beach Family Summit. We're really happy to have you. We'll just let a few more folks trickle in and then we will get started. Awesome. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, thank you so much for joining us for this evening, the Beach Family Summit. We're very excited to have you join us for these presentations from some of our awesome campus partners. I'm Nina Luxon. I'm the program coordinator for the New Student and Family Programs Department. So I am your point person for all events that are like this, for parents and family members in particular. Also joining us, we have a couple of staff members from the New Student and Family Programs Department, including Jesse Ramirez and Rachel Sanchez, and they will be able to answer some of your questions that you will be able to submit into the Q&A box. So if you have questions throughout the presentations today, you can go ahead and put your questions there, and we will be happy to answer them throughout the presentation. And then also at the end of each segment of the presentation, or at the end of every presentation, we'll be able to answer questions in the Q&A as well with our presenters. So before we begin with the presentations, I do want to plug our upcoming event that we have in March. It is called Meet the Beach, where you and your parents and family members will be able to come to campus and meet key administrators and staff that are on campus who are really here helping support your student and making sure that your student's experience is top tier. This event is free to attend, and registration for this event will be open tomorrow. It will be on our website. So feel free to take a look at our website to register for that. And yeah, we'll have some more information for you starting tomorrow, or you could email us at pfo@csulb. We are happy to help. But without further ado, I will go ahead and turn it over to Gina Trammell, who will be presenting for you all today on summer professional development opportunities, jobs, internships, things like that. And if you have any questions, please, again, utilize that Q&A box. And we are happy to help you. So thank you so much. Okay, and Gina, you should now be host.
Great. I'm going to share my screen and get started. So let me know if you can see everything here. So I am the coordinator for the internship services across campus. My name is Gina Trammell with the Career Development Center. So let's get started. And again, you'll have time at the end to ask any questions. So first off, is what we're going to talk about today is what we provide students at the Career Development Center, which is located in Brotman Hall in the administration building on the second floor in Suite 250. We also are going to be talking about navigating summer jobs, internship opportunities, where students can go, like what, types of approach they can have, how to receive academic credit, what are the steps for students to do. Then we're going to talk also a little bit about the timeline, like intern preparation timeline, that model. And then the last, we're going to talk about scholarship opportunities for students. So Career Development Center Resources has quite a few resources. So they can stop by and do one-on-one appointments. They do have to book ahead of time through a tool called Beach Connect through their single sign-on. And we do have also drop-in sessions from 12 to 3, Monday through Friday. And then on Tuesdays, it's extended hours till 6:30 p.m. We also, in those services, we can do resume and cover letter, internship and job search strategies. Also, if student is not sure of like what avenue to take with their major, we also cover that portion. We do have job fairs and employer-related events, and I'll share some of those also with you that are coming up. We have tons of online tools, and one of those tools is CareerLink. And that is also found through the single sign-on. And that is where we actually vet internship and jobs, and we make sure that they are good to go and we approve them. And then in the Career Link, we also have other tools for job searching, helping with interviews, AI featured tools. We have something called Job Scan, which students actually can put their job description and upload their resume, and it'll scan it, and an AI feature will kind of see how related it is to the job description, and then it'll give feedback on how to correct or how to add certain things as long as the student has those skills. So those are some of the features. There's quite a bit in CareerLink. Job and internship postings, I mentioned that. We have that in CareerLink, and CareerShift, another tool in CareerLink. We got lots of workshops and webinars, featured anything from internships, resumes, to preparing for interviews, also preparing for the job fairs. And then the scholarships, of course, is the last piece. We have 2 annual scholarships and a study abroad scholarship as well. So what are some of the upcoming job fairs you might be thinking? So the next one is March 12th, as you can see, and that is through our Career Development Center. We host it, and we have a lot of employers from different types of industry that will be coming, and all those employers will be on the Career Link. When they hit attend, they can see all of the employers and all the positions, so they can do the research ahead of time to see who's coming. We also have an educator's job and internship fair. This one is dedicated for anything in the education industry, not just school districts, but higher education, also like after school programs. Those are going to be at this fair. And then that one's April 10th from 12 to 4. And these are all located at the Student Union in the ballrooms. And then the last one is the just-in-time job and internship fair to prepare students for summer. So these are all in preparation for summer, but this one is just another one, just in case the students have missed the other 2 as well. That one's April 24th. Again, the time is from 12 to 4. That does not mean that the students have to stay from 12 to 4. They can pop in, see the employers that they need in between classes. They can take 30 minutes or an hour, depending on, how much time they'd like to spend there. It is advised that they RSVP through CareerLink. We do accept non-RSVPs, but just in case, like, they try to get in the very beginning when it's busy, we will have like registration lines for RSVP and non-RSVPs. So the RSVPs will get to go in first. We also have internship in-person events that I'm hosting. The next one we have is next Tuesday, actually, March 4th. We have several employers with criminal justice background. We have a healthcare service. We also have hospitality industry that will be 6 employers coming to next week's event. And that one, all these internship events, they're not just employer panels where employers will be able to talk with the students in smaller groups, but we also have a workshop in the beginning where we specialize like some of the issues that they have, for those specific majors, whether it's like searching for health and human service internships, what are some of the tips for that. And we have an arts internship event for March 18th from 2 to 4. And then we also have a liberal arts internship event. And the liberal arts internship event is the only one that only has an employer panel networking portion, because the College of Liberal Arts already has a lot of workshops themselves. So they wanted us to focus on the employer piece of it. And I believe the link here is placed in your chat. So if you need to kind of, guide your the students there, you can do that. So I'm going to go to the next page. So let's talk about navigating summer and internship. So What are the benefits? Benefits you probably already know, but I'm just going to go over a few of these. Opportunity to network with professionals, training that builds on knowledge gained in the classroom, gaining skills that are valued, supervised practical experience. So we don't, the difference between the internship and just a regular part-time job is that the person needs that that supervising them should have expertise in that field and not just throwing them in there and being able to be a mentor to that student so they can be able to build those relationships and find training, right? And see if it's right for them. You know, this is a really good test drive for them. Is this the correct career that I want? And this is an easy way to do that. So summer internships and jobs typically are 40 hours a week, unlike this fall and spring, which can be only up to 20 hours a week. Internships are available during undergraduate, or typically sometimes you can actually find internships for recent graduates. You will see it on the job description and it'll state a recent graduate up to 6 months afterwards, for instance. Some of the internships will have that opportunity too. Um, Internships can be specific for majors and fields, or they just say all majors, meaning that they're taking from, let's say, sometimes you'll see like a business management internship, but then they'll say, you know, open to all majors. So, but there is paid or unpaid internships. We highly encourage paid internships, and we don't get a lot of unpaid through our career link. But if it is unpaid, it has to be given academic credit for the student. So the student has to have a choice to be able to, you know, if they're taking that unpaid to get academic credit. Now, if the internship says like, I just want you to do the unpaid, you know, it's really up to the student, but we always encourage the employers to make sure that they can give the credit to the student. So, internships, even like, you know, they can last a summer, but sometimes they like the student so much that they can extend that past the summer and it can go on to the next semester or a year-long commitment. What are the types? So I want to talk about the types of approach to looking for internships. So this is like a skills approach. So sometimes students will, you know, type in by industry-based skills and look for computer science, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. Or, you know, you can see, and I have like some of the resources on the bottom is like, you know, you can look on our website. Also job postings and job descriptions kind of will tell you like what skills that are needed for that job or internship. Another approach sometimes students take are company connection approach when you're looking for internships. Do you want a well-known company like SpaceX, or are you looking for like a smaller company where you can do, you know, sometimes you can wear more hats, or like a nonprofit. Perhaps maybe you're thinking, okay, you know, for the student, it's important for them to have that mission and vision aligned with their values, right? So there are different ways to approach that. And these are just some of the resources that you can actually look at. And LinkedIn, Glassdoor is a good one. That actually showcases not only the culture of the company, but sometimes, a lot of times, there'll be current and past employers that will kind of give feedback on what the company's like. And then we've got the career link, which I mentioned, and the career shift is another tool, and resource, and that's found in career link. These are some of the skills and qualities employers seek. This was actually based on an Outlook survey from the National Association of Colleges and Employers, who puts it out to about over 150 employers across the nation. And these are some of the skills that keep popping up. So I kind of just wanted to showcase this because a lot of the times students are asking what specific skills do I need to really kind of relay when I'm, you know, talking with employers, when I'm doing cover letters. These are some of the basic ones, but again, it depends on the industry. So for instance, like computer science and engineering, there's going to be more technical knowledge related to the field versus like a management job. You might have ability to plan, organize, prioritize work and communication skills, which that actually is needed for a lot, but it might be a higher priority for as a skill set. Okay, so where do you find all these internships when the students are asking? There is, of course, the Career Development Center, which I've kind of showcased a few of those, like the job fairs. We also have information sessions. That's the fourth bullet down. So those are sessions where employers will actually host a session, whether it's an hour, typically it's an hour long, where they present their company, what they're about and all their positions and what they're, what they have available. And at the end, they give a Q&A time for the students. We also, under Career Link, have specific jobs where students can actually look if there's campus interviews related to those jobs. And that means if they apply to something that has a campus interview and the employer likes the resume, the campus interviews will be on campus at our Career Development Center. So the employer will organize a time with the student. And we host them in and we have rooms specifically for those interviews. Another area would be like talking with the academic departments. A lot of times, sometimes they post their own internships and have lists that are pretty just for specific majors. Sometimes it's faculty, sometimes it's the department. And also, I always encourage students to join student organizations related to their fields. Why? Not only the employers are looking for that because it shows that they're making initiatives, but also employers a lot of times are guests for some of those meetings where students, it's another way for students to meet and network with employers. Other resources, directly at through the company websites, professional associations, like for instance, healthcare associations, if they're in a health and science, or engineering associations, or accounting associations, professional associations they can find on their own, typically is really good to join, besides also the student organizations. And typically there's usually a discount or it's free for students to join. And then social networks such as also LinkedIn on and we also have something called Beach Nexus, which is another app on the single sign-in where they can join and meet up with the community and alum that is most related to their fields. I know this is a lot, but this is a list that I put together of a lot of top internship search websites like LinkedIn, Way Up, Internship Finder. Those are the three that the students kind of highlighted because they like those the most. But there's others. And if you kind of go down to usajobs.gov, that's for government. And then we also have right below it idealist.org. That one is specifically for nonprofits. So they have ones that are specifically for, different things. Okay. I'm running out of time. So this is kind of the toolkit here, the timeline for applying, for hiring process, resume, cover letter, reference letters, transcripts. These are all things that they need to provide. And the optional ones are portfolio, LinkedIn profile, and digital badges. Those are something that, especially if they're like in the art or engineering or specific ones, sometimes they need a portfolio to showcase their projects. Okay, so I'm just going to go over this really quickly. How to get an academic credit. So you need to the student needs to identify an organization, and then they have to obtain an offer letter, get the job. Once they get the job, then they can find and sign up for an internship class through CSULB, and then the faculty will either approve or not approve of that organization, but many times it is approved. And then after they approve it, then once they complete the internship class, they'll receive the academic credit. That's the short version. Um, Let's see. And then we also have internship programs through the Academic Internships Office here, as you can see. It's csulb.edu/academic-internships-office. If maybe Rachel can put that in the chat. These are all programs that provide, paid internship opportunities, specifically in nonprofits that don't have enough money, but they have grants if that students can go into these programs. There's a limited amount of grant money, so a limited amount of students can join these programs, but it's still a great way for students that are interested in specific nonprofits. Okay, last but not least, they are two scholarships. So the one we have upcoming for the summer is Manuel Perez Internship Success Scholarship. And this is the information, and this is for unpaid nonprofit and government positions. And they can receive $1,000 scholarship, and the deadline is Friday, June 6th. So these are the instructions, and the eligibility, really, they have to be graduating December 25th, 2025 or later. And the internship has to take place in the summer. The next contest is in the fall, and that one is going to be October 17th, which will be the deadline. And that's another chance to win $1,000 scholarship. So this one's going to be through CareerLink, and the other one is through Big Interview. Both of those tools they can find through their single sign-on. And the difference between this one, it can be paid or unpaid. It can be any industry, doesn't have to be a nonprofit or government. Okay, so I hope I made the timing. Okay, so I know I went through that pretty quickly. So I want to like to open it up to any questions.
Hi, Gina. We do have a question in the chat from Esperanza, and it says, can students get paid for internship and receive credit, or is it either or?
And so yes, they can do both. So like if an internship is paid, from a corporation already paid, they can do that and also get credit. I was just mentioning during the presentation, if it's unpaid, we really highly recommend that they get credit for it. So, but they can do both.
Perfect. The next question that I see is, should engineering students turn in their academic departments or turn to their academic departments for their internships mostly? Question mark.
So, there's a range. I think it's really entirely dependent on the student, but I will say that we have a lot of offerings in the engineering department has a lot of offerings. So I think I would say both, reach out to their they do have an internship, I believe, a person in the College of Engineering. And we also have tons of lot of resources too in a lot of companies we work with. So they might think, okay, I reach out to these many employers, maybe they got from, but I would just say do both. It's not going to hurt. The more resources, the better, the better chances they get. And also know that we have a staff of, 4 employer engagement team, and then we have like 7 counselors. And we have a lot more resources shared because we have a lot more staff too. So I would tell them to take advantage. Any other questions, Brewing?
Hello. Did you hear me? Sorry, I said another question that we had in the chat was, are interns allowed to live on campus?
So if a student gets an internship and they're living in the dorms, there's no conflict. Is they can live on campus or off campus. That's not an issue. Is that what they're asking?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, okay.
Another question that we have is when do fall internships generally become available?
Good question. Depends on the industry. Not all the companies have like the same deadline. So I will say for companies like we were mentioning, engineering companies that have like background checks, the sooner the better. So like right now is a good time to apply for those like especially for engineering or government based that have more clearance that they have to work through because sometimes it can take up to 6 months for like a background check and clearance. For those that don't have a background or clearance, I would say to apply at least like depending like 3 to 4 months at least before, so early summer for fall. But I would just say starting now, March and April is like still a really great time to apply because again, the sometimes the larger the company is, the earlier they want to start because they have so many procedures in place. But some of the smaller companies, they have a little bit more wiggle room, so they'll usually sometimes put out those internships in the summer, early summer. Great question though. Anything else?
Hello, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, I can hear you.
Another question that we in the chat is, are there internships available for future associate marriage and family therapists?
Um, so from what I've seen on Career Link, I haven't seen so many for you said family and marriage therapist, like an intern, like working with them. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the question was asking about an internship for associates, marriage and family therapist.
I haven't
Future
seen very
associate.
many, but I would say that they haven't come through Career Link, let's just say. I know that for a fact. But I would like probably, if the student is interested, they can always book an appointment. We can take a look on other sites, but it doesn't pop up as much. But I think, for instance, for that something that specific, there are interns. When I was working a long time ago, I was working for the YWCA, and we had interns that needed hours for, they wanted to be an intern for they wanted to be a therapist for their future, so that we did have interns, but they were usually in the master's program. So I didn't see any that were in undergrad, but it doesn't mean that they don't have those internships. So, but again, if you want, I can take a look into that and then I can send that out to Nina or Jesse or any of the staff there, and I can follow up with that.
Perfect. I think we might have time for one more question, which I'm seeing in the chat. There's a few, but what do students need to bring when attending the job and internship fairs?
Great question. Typically, I always say to print off a few copies of their resume, and usually not a cover letter because unless they have the positions and they're going to be doing it specifically for those positions that they already know that they want to apply to. So a few copies, and then also one of the things is sometimes students will have like little business cards with their QR code, and it'll directly go to their resumes. Some of them will do that with their phones, but a lot of times they just want kind of like hard copies. So I would just kind of do both if they have the chance to do that. So, and then dress professionally.
Perfect. I think that is all the time that we have for questions for this presentation. But Gina, is there a specific place that they should go to ask any more questions that may be in the chat other than the email that you have provided?
Email is good, and then I would say if I get to let me see. I'll put it in the chat. Hold on. So let me stop sharing real quick.
Unfortunately, we only have the Q&A box for folks to see,
Oh,
but if they can visit a website, that would probably be best.
yes, the website would be great. Here, I'll just put that. If they go to the website and then they can do the about, and then there's a contact information there too. So that would be the best way to go.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Great questions. And I will turn it back to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gina. We really appreciate you joining us. And we look forward to working with you in the future. If parents have any questions, Gina provided some of the contact information on the last slide. So,
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Okay, folks. Sorry, we're trying to transfer over power. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for everybody that has just joined us. I know that we are now going to begin the next part of our presentation. And first, for those of you that are just joining us, I want to say hello. Thank you so much for joining us again for the Beach Family Summit. We're very excited to have you joining us this evening for these presentations from some of our pretty awesome campus partners. My name is Nina Luxon. I'm the program coordinator for the New Student and Family Programs Department, and I'm your point person for events like this and for future events that are parent and family focused. Also joining us is Jesse Ramirez and Rachel Sanchez, and they will be able to answer some of your questions that you have using the Q&A box. So if you have any questions throughout the presentations, feel free to put them into the Q&A box. We will try to answer as many as we can throughout the presentation, and also at the end of the presentation, we will be able to answer some of those questions live for you. Before we begin with the presentation, I do want to plug our upcoming event in March. It is called Meet the Beach. It is a free in-person event where you'll be able to come to campus and meet with key administrators and staff on campus who are really here helping to support your student and create a really great place for your student to thrive. So you'll be able to come to campus, meet with them and mix and mingle, attend a panel to hear some perspectives from some alumni and such. This, like I said, this event is free to attend, and registration for this event will be available starting tomorrow on our parent and family webpage. So if you have questions about that, please visit our parent and family webpage or email us at pfo@csulb. And without further ado, we are going to present Jeannie Quintanilla, who will be presenting on understanding financial aid and financial literacy and things of that sort. So, Jeannie, I will hand it over to you.
Hi, Nina. Thank you.
Of course.
Hi,
Thank you for
everyone.
joining us.
Yeah, everyone. My name is Jeannie Quintanilla, and I'm one of the financial aid counselors here. And so today we are going to do a quick overview of the financial aid and the financial aid process. So bear with me 1 second while I go ahead and set this up. All right. So the role of the financial aid office is for us to determine a student's eligibility for financial aid, and we coordinate federal, state, and institutional funding. We disperse eligible financial aid to the student accounts and administer all financial aid programs. We also maintain compliance and regulatory requirements with all aid programs to ensure funding is available. Now, how to apply for financial aid. So students either submit the free application for federal student aid, also known as the FAFSA application, or the California DREAM Act application, also known as the CADA. So students who complete the FAFSA application would be students who are US citizens or eligible non-citizens. Students would be considered for federal, state, and institutional funding, and the application can be found at fafsa.gov. Students completing a CADE application would be AB 540 eligible students, students who are undocumented, or DACA or other qualifying visa status students. These students would be eligible for state and institutional funding only. And that application can be found at that website there, dream.csac.ca.gov. Now, one thing I would like to emphasize is the application is determined by the student status, so not the parent's status. Now, the financial aid applications for the upcoming academic year of 25 to 26 are available. They became available December 1st of 2024, and the priority deadline is March 3rd. Now, both applications request for the same information. The important thing to remember is that March 3rd is the priority deadline to complete the FAFSA application, but it is the absolute deadline for the DREAM Act application. So just please make sure that students complete that application as soon as possible, since March 3rd is next week. Now, the typical financial aid process. So the first step would be for the student and the parents to complete the application. Second step would be for the financial aid to review the application, at which point we may request additional information. Next would be for the student and parents to submit any required documentation. And again, this would only be if we are requesting additional documents. The fourth step would be for the financial aid office to use the application and the additional documentation to determine eligibility. And lastly, we would send financial aid award letters to students once we have confirmed eligibility. Now, there are various types of aid. We do offer grants, and this could be federal, state, or institutional grants. We offer a state university grant, which is an institutional award. We offer a federal Pell Grant, Cal Grant, and a middle class scholarship, which are both state grants. There's also scholarships available, both institutional and external, and we will go over that in just a bit. We also offer federal work study. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that although we may offer federal work study, the eligibility is determined by the FAFSA application, and there's no guarantee of placement. We also administer third-party payments. We work with Student Financial Services as they actually administer CalVet, tuition savings plans, and employer benefit plans. There's also federal student loans for students as well as parents. This can be borrowed from the Department of Education, and we also work with private loans, which can be borrowed from a bank or a credit union or some other private lender. Now, the federal parent loan or the federal parent plus loan. These loans are offered by the Department of Education to help you pay for your students' education. These loans have a fixed interest rate and a variety of repayment options. You must not have an adverse credit history to borrow a Parent Plus loan. Parents can apply for this loan at studentaid.gov, the same application or the same website where students complete their FAFSA application. That's where you would find the application for this particular loan. The Parent Plus loan can be borrowed up to the full annual cost of attendance minus any other financial aid the student is already receiving. And so for more information on repayment or additional requirements, you can visit that website there. You can find that information by simply Googling CSUOB financial aid. It'll take you to our website. Now, internal scholarships. We do offer internal scholarships, which are from Cal State Long Beach, and the best resource for scholarships is our website. You can find the information on that link there, or simply just Googling CSULB financial aid scholarships, and you'll have access to that website there. We are a semester by semester scholarship institution. Students applying in the spring for fall scholarships and in the fall for spring scholarships. So in essence, a student is always applying for a future term, right? So if a student applies now and they do get awarded, it will be applied for the fall. And so if the students apply in the fall and get awarded, it will actually be applied and dispersed towards the spring term. Now, the best source of scholarships is our internal application called Beach Scholarship. The portal uses your information to match you with eligible scholarships, one application for all internal scholarships. So, definitely highly recommend for students to visit our website. Now, the fall 2025 Beach Scholarships application deadline is March 11th, so it is fast approaching. And we do have tutorial videos on how to complete the applications on our YouTube tutorial, and you can visit that website with that link there. Also, we have a link on our financial aid website as well. So again, you can Google CSULB financial aid and scholarships, and you will find that link as well. Now, external scholarships. This is also a resource to secure funding. We have a list of external opportunities that we have vetted on our website. So same Beach Scholarships website, you will see a tab there for external scholarships. So you can navigate, the same way. External scholarships are student initiated and can have various funding sources. Local and community organizations, churches, clubs, employers are all examples of funding sources. External scholarships may require separate or more in-depth applications. They also have varying deadlines or submission criteria, so it is important to carefully research. Do not get scammed. Always vet the scholarship source and watch out for suspicious activity. Most scholarships do not require an application fee or ask for sensitive personal information like social security numbers or bank account information. So if you come across an application that's asking for any of this information, we would highly advise you to proceed cautiously, because typically these sources won't ask you for that information. And again, all the scholarship opportunities that you find on our website, on the Beach Scholarships website, they have been vetted, so we have confirmed that they are legitimate opportunities. Now, award letters, right? So once we have determined a student's eligibility, the financial aid office will deliver this award letter each year to financial aid applicants. So for 25-26, the estimated delivery date is late March, early April. So this allows families to understand the true cost of their students' education. So on the award letter, you will see the cost of attendance minus all the financial aid that we are offering or that the student is eligible for, which would give you the student and the parents the net cost. So this is an example of an award letter for the upcoming 25-26 aid year. So the cost of attendance, it will list the direct cost, which would be tuition, fees, housing, if they're dorming on campus, and the meal plan, right, if applicable, and then indirect costs such as books, supplies, transportation, and personal expenses. So the total cost for this particular student would be $30,050 for both fall and spring semesters combined. Then it will list the financial aid eligibility. So we see a Pell Grant, a Cal Grant. So in total in grants, we're looking at about $13,000. And then we also have student loans that we offer for this particular student. The maximum would be $5,500. So in total, with both grants and student loans, which again, student loans are considered financial aid. So the student is being offered about $18,000. So the net cost would end up being about $11,000. So, ways to meet the remaining cost needs would be through applying for scholarships and possibly that Parent Plus loan, also private lender or private loans through private lenders. And so what we want every parent and student to know, a few key things we want to emphasize is to submit the FAFSA or the CADE application by March 3rd. Number 2, stay alert for communications from financial aid. We communicate to the student only via email, via their CSULB email. So we can't emphasize this enough. Please make sure that your student is, constantly checking their CSULB email, because that is our primary form of communication. 3, submit any requested documentation from the financial aid office, and the student will be notified via email if there is any additional documents being requested, which is why it is extremely important they check their email. Number 4, be mindful of enrollment and eligibility for financial aid. 5, contact our office if you have any questions about your financial aid. And 6, applying for financial aid is an annual process. So, new FAFSA or CADE application will be required every year. The financial aid office is required to determine eligibility, and responding promptly to requests from our office will ensure financial aid eligibility is correct and that it disperses on time. And there are various ways to contact our office. You can call our financial aid office. You can visit our website online. You can submit a ticket, and you can visit us in person. Parents and students can meet with a counselor or a technician at our intake windows in the first floor of Broadman Hall, or students can also make an in-person, virtual, or phone appointment with a financial aid counselor. And with that, that is pretty much it. Now we can maybe open up for questions.
Awesome, yeah. We do have a couple of questions in the chat. I'm not sure if you see them, but one of the
Yeah.
questions that we have received was, after the student finishes the application, does the parent receive an email to finish performing the parent portion of the FAFSA application? If so, do they log into the student account or create their own?
Once the students start the application, they are required to send an invite to the parent so that the parent can complete their portion. So yes, the parent should receive an email with an invite to complete their portion.
Awesome. Another question that I see in the chat is, how can we get assistance with MCS issues, questions, fixes?
Contact our office. Yeah, the best thing would be to contact our office, because this can be a case-by-case situation.
Jeannie, just really quick. Hi, it's Jesse. Can you
Hi.
tell us what the MCS is?
The MCS is a middle class scholarship.
Thank you. Just want to make sure we're all talking the same language here.
Yes.
Perfect.
So, yeah, any issues with any specific awards, contact our office.
Awesome. The next question that I see is, it says, potential students who auditioned for the music program, was the internal scholarship app done automatically?
Was the internal scholarship app, so students, when applying for scholarships, I'm not quite sure I understand the question, but any student trying to apply for a scholarship, they have to go through Beach Scholarships. They have to complete the general application. And by completing the general application, it will filter and kind of highlight the departmental or college applications that the students qualify for. So, like, for example, dance or art, or let's say if they're a business major. So then the student will then have to complete that application for their specific major. I hope that answered the question.
Great, thank you. Another question, as a new freshman incoming student, how will my student get access to their CSULB email address?
Once they're fully admitted, they should have access to that. I know it can take some time, but if they still don't have access to that, they should contact enrollment services for more information.
Awesome.
And then I'll add enrollment services can be reached by that same phone number, the 955471, but it's option 1 for enrollment services.
Perfect. Thank you. The next question that I see says, it looks like the FAFSA application hard deadline is April 2nd. Is that correct?
That is not correct. Currently it is March 3rd, for a FAFSA application. CADA application, they recently have extended that for CADA filers. So CSAC has extended the deadline to April 2nd, and this was as of yesterday. But for FAFSA, it is currently March 3rd.
Perfect. Thank you. The next question I see, does CSULB offer any financial literacy courses to assist students?
Yes, we do have financial literacy information available. This would be through one of our partners, through Basic Needs. They offer that resource. If you can Google CSULB Basic Needs or CSULB Financial Literacy, it'll take you to their website for more information.
I jump in really quick as well. ASI runs a financial literacy program as well. The College of Business has one as well. So there's multiple programs out there. I think if you just did a quick little Google search and did financial literacy, it's going to pop up quite a few things. We know this is a hot topic and necessary topic for our students. And me too. Yeah, me too. I spent too much money. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse.
Perfect. The next question I see is, my son will be graduating December 2025. Should we still do the FAFSA?
And we'll be graduating December 25 from, so if the student is planning to enroll at any college for spring 2026, then the student should complete the application.
So if the student is graduating December 2025, do you suggest that they fill out the FAFSA?
If they're not going to be enrolled for spring 25, they don't have to. But if they're going to be enrolled anywhere else, then yes.
Awesome. Another question that I see is, who do we ask why our daughter does not qualify for a 1098T for taxes?
That would be Student Financial Services. You can contact them, same number, option 3. Student Financial Services, it administers the 1098T forms. And Nina, I'm sorry, let's go back to that question. The student is graduating December 2025, so they're going to be attending CSULB in the fall?
I presume yes.
Sorry, yes, the student needs to complete the 25-26 application. Sorry, not sure where I was at. But yes, if the student's going to be enrolled in fall, we must have an application.
Perfect. Thank you. The next question that I see is, does having an on-campus job, non-federal study, influence the amount of financial aid offered and or eligibility for scholarships?
No, has no bearing on your eligibility.
Perfect. Awesome. The next question that I see says, CSAC is showing incomplete missing GPA. Who is responsible for updating it, and is the due date still March 2nd?
The GPA verification, it depends. So we send all the GPA verifications for students who have completed at least 24 credits here with us. So if we're talking about a new student coming in, then it would be your previous institution who would have to report the GPA. And so that's something that we automatically do for our students who have completed at least 24 units here.
Awesome, thank you. The next question I see is it says, my student has been admitted for fall 2025. Does my student get access to apply for scholarships right away, or does he need to wait until he has committed to CSULB? We have completed the FAFSA. Could you please share again when we will receive the financial aid offer?
Yeah, so if we've, so late March, early April is when we will send out those award letters. As far as the scholarships, students, once they have access to their, single sign-on, they will have access to the beach scholarships as well. So if the student still does not have access to single sign-on, then contact enrollment services.
Awesome. The secondary question to that was, will we know the complete financial aid package before committing to CSULB?
If we send out the award letters late March, early April, I believe that is before students are required to commit, yes.
Perfect. And I see one last question in the chat, and it says, is the middle class scholarship automatic, or do you have to apply?
It's pretty much automatic. The information is CSAC uses information from the FAFSA or CADA application. So once the student completes that, CSAC will determine the student's general eligibility, and they will notify this institution, and the institution is responsible for doing one final check to make sure that they're meeting all the requirements. Eligibility can vary from institution to institution. So so it is up to the institution to do the final check for eligibility. So there's no extra step, just complete the FAFSA or CADA.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jeannie. Oh, we have one question left,
Sure.
and this I think will be the final one. It says, my student completed 60 credits out of state, and the credits were transferred over to CSULB. They have completed 14 credits at CSULB. Since her credits were transferred over, who updates her GPA?
Her previous institution.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
And again, everybody, on the screen right here is the contact information if you
Yes.
have any further questions for the financial aid team. And Jeannie, is there anything else that you would like to share before you part?
No, yeah, just if you have questions, please, I can't emphasize it enough. I know it's a lot of information and a lot of it is case by case. So please, if there's questions, have your students, contact us or schedule an appointment, so we can get it all squared away, before, students actually start. And then just get those applications in, submitted, as quick as possible.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It was really lovely to have you.
Yeah, thank
And we
you.
look forward to working with you again very soon.
Yeah.
If you are if your student is attending this coming fall, you will likely see our teams work again during the summer during parent family orientation. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and we're here to help.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Bye, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry, Jeannie, could you stop sharing your screen, please?
Okay. I stopped sharing.
Perfect. One second. Sorry, folks, give me 1 second. I'm trying to figure out how the hosting has changed. Okay, give us just 1 second. Thank you for standing
While Nina's getting doing some behind the scenes, I just wanted to just introduce myself. I know you can't see me. My name is Jesse Ramirez. I'm the director of New Student Family Programs, and we're trying lots of different things to get our parents connected, not only to the campus but to the resources and services. Get your questions answered, and so I just want to say thank you for Nina and our guests, our speakers for joining us, but more importantly, our 82 people who are online with us today on a Wednesday um, to learn more about the university and so that you have information to answer your students' questions and guide them and be a part of their decision. And so I just want to quickly say thank you. And I know we'll be hosting other events, as Nina mentioned. We'll have another event on March 25th, an in-person event here where we'll have our associate vice presidents, our vice presidents joining us for a mixer along with alumni on a panel. So we're working out a lot of those details, but we will have that out to you, and Nina will probably tell you a little bit more about it in a couple of minutes here. So hang tight as we continue to get our next speaker lined up, and we'll be live. We'll continue live shortly. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Hello, everybody. Hello again. Sorry, folks, we were having a little bit of troubleshooting, trying to figure all of this out, but I think that we have figured out what was going on. Awesome. I know we still had a couple of folks having questions. If you have any further questions, they did share the information for you in the presentation, and also you can look on the website. You can go to the financial aid website, and it'll provide all of that information for you. So, and also the place where you can ask them any questions that you may have. Awesome. And for those of you just joining us, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Beach Family Summit. We are very happy to have you this evening for presentations from some of our awesome campus partners. I'm Nina Luxon. I'm the program coordinator for New Student and Family Programs. So I'm your point person for events like this and other parent and family events that we have coming up. I will take this opportunity to plug one of our upcoming events, which is our Meet the Beach event. This takes place in late March, and it will be an opportunity for you to come to campus and meet key administrators and staff on campus that help make your students' experience at CSULB awesome. So this is a free event for you to attend in person, and registration for this event will open tomorrow on our website. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to email us at pfo@csulb, and we are happy to help. Um, as you all may have seen in the email, we've had a little bit of a scheduling adjustment. So, unfortunately, our presentation about academic support will no longer happen this evening. We are still figuring out what that looks like moving forward. I know a few folks had questions about if it'll be postponed, but we will send a follow-up email with that information so that you can still access that and get information about academic support and academic coaching. But for now, we bumped up the presentation for the education abroad and study abroad to be during this time block. So if you are interested in staying on for that, please do so. And throughout the presentation, feel free to use the Q&A box to submit any questions that you may have. We have our team, which is me and then Jesse Ramirez and Rachel Sanchez, who will be able to answer some of those questions in the chat for you or in the Q&A box for you while the presentation is going on. And then also at the end of the presentation, we will be able to answer those questions for you. Let me just make sure that we have our other presenter coming in. And perfect. Awesome. So now, without further ado, I will hand this off to Mia Ellsbury, who is here to talk about education abroad, and will be able to share their screen and do the presentation for you all. So thank you so much. And again, if you have questions, feel free to use that chat, the Q&A feature, and we are happy to help you. And Mia, you are now host. You can take it away.
Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Mia Ellsbury. I am an education abroad advisor here at Cal State Long Beach. Let me go ahead and just bring up the presentation. Give me 1 second. And okay. Let me see. Mm, All right. So, there is a video. It's not letting me add the sound to the Zoom, unfortunately, but I still will share the video. Um, just as we go ahead and get started, I just want to go ahead and let especially our participants and um our participants as well as um parents that are here just kind of be more aware that there are a variety of different types of programs that we offer. And because of the short presentation for the time frame that we have today, we do have more in-depth presentations for students to attend, and parents are welcome to attend, kind of covering those programs in workshops that we host throughout the semester. All right, so let me go ahead and get going here. So let me show you the video. Our video here shows um, our alumni from past semesters who have attended various different study abroad opportunities. On here, you're going to see a variety of different activities outside of the classroom. And what we like to show our students are that you are studying abroad, and of course, the lessons and the things that you learn within the classes, as well as the styles of teaching that you're going to gain. And even if you go and do interning, the internships on the professional development are all great. And very beneficial to the student. But we also want to remind students that when going abroad, that they are in fact going to another country, and that this gives them the opportunity to explore and to have opportunities culturally, as well as lifelong opportunities to meet new people, make friends, and just really have a wonderful time diving into the culture, the food, and the people of where they will be living for the time that they're there. So here is our video. Don't fall. Wild screams out, screaming your name. If everybody wants you to sustain, I hope that you fall in love and it hurts so bad. Baby, only way you can fall. I hope that you don't suffer but take the pain. Hope when the moment comes, you'll say, So with our video, we like our students to like go ahead and see the different types. Ooh, sorry, this jumped ahead. Um, when we speak with our students, we want to remind them that going and studying abroad can be transformative and something that can be very life-changing and can help our students actually grow up in ways outside of the classroom that can make them grow up as better students, better professionals, and better people overall. When we speak with our students, we often hear many misconceptions of why oftentimes they're hesitant to go abroad. So when we talk to them, we want them to know that when they go abroad, their units do count. So classes that they take do count. There is a flexibility of the time frame of when they go. So it's not standard time of how much length of time that they have to be there. We always cover the affordability aspect of going abroad and how students are able to afford paying the cost of living as well as housing and many other things in addition to tuition. And we do go ahead and very we go ahead and we promote how much of a resume builder going and studying abroad is. Oftentimes our students don't realize that this is a great opportunity for them, not just in the sense of getting classwork done or exploring new countries and traveling, but also how they can go ahead and use this as a resource for future professional development. And then ultimately, how invaluable and transformative this can be for them. When we talk about how it counts, we always let students know that when they do a program within CSULB, all of their units do transfer back to the university. We do work with them specifically in letting them know how major and minor requirements do need to get substituted depending on the programs that they attend. And we do work with them and their academic advisors to kind of guide them to explore what coursework they can take abroad and what can transfer back to meet certain criteria. Um, we also let students know that many of our locations around the world have coursework for all majors and minors. Oftentimes, students are discouraged thinking, oh, I'm a STEM major. I'm not going to find engineering classes, or I'm in the arts. How am I going to go ahead and find something in studio art? We we go ahead and inform them of what schools are available throughout the globe that can go ahead and offer coursework for them. And more often, we let them know that what coursework they can take that is taught in English. There is a large misconception that coursework that they take must be in the language of the home country. And we let them know if you're going to South Korea, you don't always have to know Korean. If you're going to Italy, you don't always have to know Italian, at least when it comes to the curriculum of their courses that they're taking. Um, we also have them be more aware about locations that have internship opportunities, as there are programs where they can focus solely on internships, and then there are programs where they can mix an internship along with their coursework if they're doing a study abroad program. When we talk to them and let them know about flexibility, we often tell them about the different types of programs that we host. Um, our exchange programs are where students are exchanging locations with one of our partner universities abroad. This can be for a semester or up to a year, and this includes calendar or academic year. For our exchange programs, it's important to note that tuition costs remain the same as if they're here because the home universities, when we exchange students, the students will pay their home university's tuition. So neither our partners or the students here are paying international fees of any kind. They're paying the tuition that they normally would, um, as if they were attending coursework or attending the semester here at the university. With that said, they are enrolled in coursework here, while they're abroad. And this also allows them the opportunity to utilize their financial aid. And so we'll talk a little bit about financial aid in a bit. But we also, in addition to exchange programs where students kind of go to a different university abroad and pick from the catalog of classes there, we have semester faculty-led programs. This means faculty go with their students for a full semester. This takes place in 5 different locations. In the spring, we offer London, Costa Rica, and South Korea. And in the fall, we do this for Florence and South Africa and Cape Town. These programs involve upper division GE that all students are required to take. It gives them the opportunity to learn a new language and also do an internship while abroad. These programs are great for students who have low unit majors or may have electives that they need to complete or GEs in those upper division GE categories. The same way that we have semester programs with faculty led, um, we also have short-term programs. So many of our faculty in the summer and winter host or teach coursework that they normally would do here, but in a foreign country. So students don't need to worry about course matching or transferring courses. These are exactly the same as if they were taught here. And the units and everything don't need to be transferred as they are CSUOB courses. Students have the flexibility of going anywhere from a week to a whole month, depending on the itinerary of the class and what the professor has created for them to complete during the class term. Here is an approximate expectation for a semester-led program. This is for a South Africa one, which is probably the most economical one of all. It includes accommodations as well as welcome and farewell dinners, cultural activities, and excursions. There are GPA requirements for many of our programs, so students are oftentimes told to check the GPA requirements and also unit enrollment requirements. For our programs like these, we tell students to that they would have to enroll in 12 units. Our exchange programs, depending on the student, have flexibility a bit more. All right, so when we talk about affordability, we want to remind our students and parents that for most locations outside of Southern California and the United States, the cost of living is either the same or less than that of many parts in the world. Of course, we always remind students that there could be exceptions with metropolis areas like Tokyo or in Paris, where the cost can be a little bit more similar to that of here, but oftentimes still less than Southern California. So again, when students do a CSUOB program, the tuition remains the same as if they were here. There are many scholarships available, and I can give you an example of a student that I have going to Tokyo this year. She did receive the ASI scholarship within the university for study abroad, which gives her $1,000 for the semester. She also applied to the national scholarship for the Gilman Scholarship, which is a national scholarship for Pell Grant recipients, where she is now receiving $5,000. And then she also went with a private scholarship where she is now earning another $3,000. So in total, she has about $9,000 going towards her tuition as well as the cost of living, books, and everything else that she needs, in addition to the financial aid that she will receive that can go towards her regular expenses. So we do let students know of the variety of scholarships that are available to them. And we do offer scholarship workshops as well, for those who have any questions, especially with those larger national scholarships. We do work with Jeannie Quintanilla specifically over in financial aid, and she presented right before me in regards to our financial aid forms and having aid dispersed to our students. Financial aid is available to students in many of the programs. They would just apply for regular financial aid, and then we would have them do an additional form that would then be given to the financial aid office, and they would disperse their funding to them once the first day of classes begin. Um, there are supplemental costs that we always remind students, and we have a budgeting workshop that we cover with them. Just to remind them the cost of travel. This can include flights, it can include transportation once on ground, travel insurance, and the regular cost of living of going out to eat, buying toiletries, paying for housing, etc. So there are additional workshops that we offer our students to become more savvy when preparing for the cost and the affordability of these programs. When we speak about resume building, it's important to note that only about 2% of all US college students actually go and study abroad. So of our 40,000 students, we about get somewhere annually about 600 to 700 students. They go on a variety of different programs, from short-term programs in winter and summer, or our exchange programs or independent programs during the semesters. Within that, 1% are the students that actually go ahead and get the professional experience of interning abroad. So those semester programs, although internships are offered, not every student takes advantage of the opportunity. And we do let students know of internship programs and companies that can assist them with getting internships abroad. But again, it's one of those things where students oftentimes are not aware of how developmental this can be for them, professionally speaking, when they do internships abroad. So we try to highlight the great asset that it can be when it comes to actually putting it on your resume. There are a lot of soft skills that students aren't aware that they gain when they go abroad. This can include everything from intercultural competency, adapting to ambiguity, problem solving, communicating and learning new languages, as well as networking and just getting cultural awareness of how different companies around the world or cultural norms could be in the workforce. Here is a quote of one of our past alumni who actually worked in our office. Trevor was a great asset to our team because he came in with experience of not just interning, but he also did a homestay, and he was in Spain, in Granada, Spain for a year. So his quote is, "Studying Granada, Spain for a year opened me up to a new world of culture, education, experience, and friendship that I would have not gotten without the CSUIP program. A truly unforgettable adventure that changed my life." When Trevor went ahead and graduated, he brought in so many soft skills. He was a great recruiter for us. He used those skills that he learned abroad and also within our office to then go out and apply for jobs post graduation. And the one thing when he came back to us to tell us that he had received the job that he applied to, he told us that the whole time in the interview, all the questions were more related to his study abroad experience and what he learned than asking him questions about what he has done more in his degree or anything. They wanted to know what kind of skills he had brought back that he can then bring to the company where he was going to work. And oftentimes we hear the same thing of our students, that going abroad and then coming back has transformed them, not just in being able to fulfill an interview, but also their confidence level and who they are and how they can manage problem solving and just navigating the world around them. So it is a very transformative experience, and oftentimes our students come back just speaking wonders and wanting to share to our student population and anyone who's willing to listen what kind of experiences they gained. Now, for our office, we do have our social media platforms. We do post and have a lot of stories and reels on our Instagram at CSU will be abroad, where we have students do Instagram takeovers while they are abroad. So they give live feeds of what they're doing, what their life is like while being abroad in various countries and the different schools. And then from there, we also have our website here where you can go ahead and explore the different programs that we offer and the different locations. We do have an advanced search mechanism where students are recommended to go through and do a search based off their major or a variety of different parameters based off what their interests are, and what kind of study abroad experience they want to gain. But yeah, that's pretty much our presentation for today for education abroad. Um, I guess I will check to see if there's any questions.
Yeah, we have a few questions in the chat. One of the first questions that we have, Mia, is how does a student's medical insurance coverage get applied when they are studying overseas?
Their medical insurance, we do have a travel insurance. And for that, they're billed through the university when they do when they're billed for their tuition. We do have our risk office who issues the insurance to them, and they go ahead and um, they run through everything on who they need to call, how they can utilize it, and so we have a pre-departure orientation in which we let them know how they can go through and complete that.
Perfect, thank you. Another question that we have, it says, my son receives VA benefits to pay for his tuition, and he gets a monthly stipend based on where he lives to assist with housing. If he went on a study abroad, how does this affect his stipend?
For that one, it depends. So is he a veteran or is he a dependent? I'm sorry, I did not catch that.
It doesn't say, it just says he receives VA
Okay.
benefits to pay for his
So
tuition.
it varies. It depends on whether it sounds like he is the veteran, but it does vary. Because the the veteran, it's when they're veterans or dependents, they would still have to work with the Veterans Affairs office here on campus, and it changes based off government regulations. I say that because within the past year, right prior to Biden leaving, some new regulations came in that affected study abroad. But now that Trump is in office, I don't know how that may change. So again, policies can change. And come and go. So our office is always fully aware, and we try to navigate that and work hand in hand with our Veterans Affairs office.
Perfect, thank you. Another question, I think in a similar vein, it says, my son is using the GI Bill and gets a monthly stipend based on living in Long Beach. If he were to study abroad, would his stipend continue or does it stop?
The housing component, I am not sure because um the housing is based off the location of where you are. And so that we would need to check. I know tuition can still be attainable depending on the vet there is the CalVet waiver, so that can come in. But again, because that is a much more Veteran Affairs Office question, we oftentimes refer them to that office just to verify. Because they are the ones who are the most with expertise in regards to any changes in that field. Although we do go ahead and navigate how tuition can be paid or how they can still receive certain aid when they are on their exchange or on their study abroad programs. But for the housing component, that I'm not sure off the top of my head. That would be more of a Veteran Affairs Office.
Awesome. A question I've seen a couple of times pop up is what is the application process and how do they apply?
So the application process can vary depending on the program. So typically, we have semester programs, year-long programs, and then the short term. Anything that is faculty led, students would go on to our website, and we have what we call our brochures. They would click on them, and then let's say it's a faculty led summer program. They would click on the brochure and then on there receive all the information about the class, the logistics, where they're going, and they can email directly the professor to let them know of their interest. So the professor can give them even more information since they're the ones doing more of the logistical aspect of the program. Um, but they do go ahead and fill out the application that gives them just a regular contact information. They upload information in regards to why they want to go. So like a personal statement. There might be questions in regards to like their passport information, things like that. Um, for that, for purposes of that, we do go ahead and maintain a database of all of that information, and then professors have the ability to see who has applied and contact their students just to make sure that they are still completing all the logistical aspects, not just enrolling in the class. And then, so that's faculty led. For our semester exchange programs, same way they would do an application online. Then our staff, for example, I oversee Asia Pacific, so anything in the Asian continent, Australia, and the Pacific Islands. I reach out to that population of students who are applying for the following term or anyone that comes into the office asking questions. And we kind of navigate on how to do the application. Once the initial application is processed, we do what we call a nomination, which we let our exchange partners know, hey, these are students from Cal State Long Beach that we are nominating to be part of your program. And then they do usually a secondary application to that university abroad. Once approved or accepted, then they go about doing secondary or at this point, third, the next steps of visas, logistical planning, housing, things like that. And so this is a long process. It's not just here's an application, you fill it out and figure it out yourself. No, we are very hands-on where we work with them and letting them know what the next steps are, how to go about next things. We at least give them the information of visas and where they would need to go, what consulates are available. Usually in LA, they would go for consulate appointments, things like that. And then last, I would say if they are doing any other types of programs, we let them know of deadlines, and all our deadlines are online. So this can take anywhere from about 9 months prior to 6 months prior.
Perfect, thank you. And I think we have time for one more question. I've been seeing a couple of different versions of this question, but where is it? Sorry. What year is a student recommended to do study abroad? Somebody asked saying that their student is a first year pre-nursing student and wanted to know if they are eligible to study for Florence in the fall of 2025. What is the eligibility in general?
For pre-nursing specifically, there is and we tell all our nursing students this, especially our pre-nursing, there is what we call a gap semester where they finish all the pre-work and then they take a semester where they're waiting to hear back for the final confirmation that they are in the program. That is the optimal time for nursing students because it is a cohorted program. If they were to go, let's say this upcoming fall, they would not be able to because of the cohort system, right? They miss one semester, they're off track. Now, for all other students who are kind of asking, like, when is the optimal time to go? We recommend students just to come into our office and let us know as soon as possible their interest. The reason behind that is because some students come in with a lot of AP credits. Some students are transfer. Other students are in certain programs like nursing. We have to see and navigate what is the best and most optimal time for each student, depending on where they are. Some students are way advanced at a younger age, or they are very mature and knowledgeable about traveling. Then, and we might have some who are like very much starting off and need, more time to develop their major and also develop really an awareness of where they want to go.
Perfect. A question that I saw a couple of times is for the 25-26 year, is Japan included as a destination? Some folks did not see it.
Okay, so for 25-26, and because I oversee Japan, Japan is probably the most requested location. So we are impacted there. Japan for fall of 25, we don't send students to certain locations oftentimes because we will send them in the spring. For full year, our CSUIP, which is the Chancellor's Office programs, their deadline was in January for the upcoming academic year of 25-26. Um, we don't do full year for exchange anymore because of the impact, how impacted it is, and we want to give more students the opportunity to go. So we do only semester based in the spring because of how calendars work. Usually the fall term goes into February, therefore they would be coming into the spring term already late. So we try to make sure that students are able to go in the spring so it doesn't cut into the regular semesters here. And then in addition to that, we have limited spots just because of how impacted it is. And so certain majors are eligible to go just because of that's what the course's content is available in English. So we do have 4 different schools, but we are impacted in almost all of them.
Awesome. You may have said this already, but is housing selection taken care of through this program, or is the student required to find their own?
No, so typically what we end up doing is if they do, like, for example, an exchange program, the universities would let them know about housing. So if there is difficulty with housing, usually universities would let them know of what, like as in dorming, if there's difficulty, the universities would oftentimes let us know or let students know in advance. So they are aware of what kind of housing opportunities are available, whether they work with local partners or sublet units. But usually, at least the schools that I work with in the Asian countries, as well as Australia, housing is usually available, and, within dorming. Some students can live off campus, like in South Korea or Thailand, but that's more of a choice at that point.
Okay, perfect. We just have 3 more questions in the chat that I think we can blow
Oh,
through real quick.
okay.
And that'll be it. So, how many students typically go on the faculty or spring faculty-led semester abroad program to London, and how many apply? Not
Ooh,
sure.
okay. London, because we do that jointly, I believe, with Fullerton, we have about 30-ish students that go to London. Um, again, we have a lot of applications or interest that start and then they kind of melt off. That's just because students are interested in just kind of learning about it and then they kind of are like, okay, I'm gonna hold off, or for whatever reasons they don't. But typically, we haven't had a cap yet, but we're about 30 for the semester.
Perfect. Can a student study abroad after earning their bachelor's degree with coursework towards their master's degree, or must it be done before?
I would say for exchange programs, that would be not possible because you have to be a matriculated student. Now, if you wanted to do short term, those are available to anyone. Just like you would be eligible to apply or attend summer school courses, because they're through continuing open, enrollment. Students are eligible to, if they, if we have staff, we have students, alumni, community members can apply for those programs as long as the professor allows it.
Perfect.
So
And then oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, yeah, so just summer or winter, that would be the ones that they would be able to.
Awesome. And then the last question that we have time for, it is, what is the optimal time for an industrial design student who is a freshman now and is working on their portfolio?
Okay, so industrial design, because they have to go through the process of the portfolio review. The first initial semesters, they oftentimes are taking classes to get ready for their portfolio review. Usually in their second year in the winter, and then their junior and senior years, depending on when they complete or go up for portfolio. And that's a very specific type of program, but um, usually students who are in the industrial program, we recommend their junior year. They have the choice of either fall or spring to go. We usually try to make sure not the whole cohort is trying to go during the same semester because that can be a little difficult. But we do have locations in South Korea, in the UK as well, where industrial design students are able to attend and complete coursework. And usually we try to do it in their junior year, but if they really wanted to, they can in their senior. I know students oftentimes want to do fall more than spring because spring is when they have their studio their shows going out. So they want to be here for
Perfect.
that. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mia. It was really great to have you.
Yes,
Is there a
no problem.
particular place that these folks should email if they have any further questions?
They can email studyabroad@csulb.edu, or they,
Perfect.
like I said, they can go onto our website as well. The QR code on the here can also allow them to fill out a form letting us know that they're interested in getting more information as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us again, Mia. It was really great to have you. And we look forward to speaking with you in the future, and working together, to get these folks what they need. So
Perfect.
thank you so
Yeah.
much. Really
Okay.
appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
You as well. Awesome. And then Mia, could you, if once you leave, I'll be able to have host again. Sorry. Awesome. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I think my video is getting booted up here. Yes, video is getting boosted up. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Beach Family Summit. We are really happy to have you all joining us. I know I previously talked about the Meet the Beach event that will be taking place at the end of March, and I do want to just show you this. This is our event flyer. So feel free to take this information. You can scan to register here. And this will also, like I said, be available on the website beginning tomorrow. So if you have any questions, please email pfo@csulb. This will be an in-person event, free for all attendees, up to 4 people per party. So feel free to scan that QR code and register, and then reach out if you have any questions. But thank you all again for joining us. It was really great to have you. And we will record this session, and we are still figuring out where we're going to post it. So if you, a lot of you had questions about that, and we will send a follow-up email with that information. So otherwise, thank you all so much. It was great seeing you, and have a great evening. Thank you so much. Perfect. Thank you all.